Alright, we are back on sports, and you know it feels really weird doing this today because it's on a Wednesday. Usually I do sports videos. I got so used to doing them on Mondays, but I've been so busy I haven't had any chance to, to do anything. It's the first time for me sitting down and actually talking on camera, so it feels a little weird doing it on a Wednesday. So you gotta give me a little, I gotta get back into rhythm again. But I will say this, today we have a lot to talk about. Talk about the NBA, talk about the EPL, talk about the MLB, talk about a lot of fighting, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be talked about. But first, I want to talk about what happened on Saturday, which was the Cupid run. Now, for those who don't know, this was at the Philadelphia Zoo. I did participate. This is the medal for it. As you can see, all proceeds, it says, I don't know if you can see at the bottom, all proceeds went to helping people with disabilities, okay? So that's why I went out to run. This is my first run of the year, and I found it really interesting, this run, because, first off, the Cupid run is designed, even though a lot of us were there, and, a lot of runners I was talking to, you have to understand, when you're running all these type of local runs, and even in Jersey, when you run all these people in these places, you see the same faces, all right, because they're doing the same thing. So it's like, hey, how you doing? I just saw you last time, you know what I mean? So you run into a lot of people that you've seen before, you start talking to them, you get to know them. So I saw a lot of familiar faces that were there, from the other runs that I've been at, So, but this run is designed for singles and also people who were couples as well, all right? Now, with that being said, I have to say this right now, okay? Because you get shirts that say, if you're available on your back because you're running so people can see that, your back. They say available or unavailable, okay? You get those shirts. Here's the thing. Apparently a lot of the guys who were available got the wrong shirt, right? And they were unavailable. And they were so upset because they didn't have any replacement shirts. They were so upset. And they were like, yo, they cock blocking me before I could even do anything. What? Like, we're here to run, and all proceeds are here, you know what I mean, to help the people with disabilities. You can talk with them, they actually ran as well. People with Down syndrome, people who are really disabled, But you gotta think, we're out there in 19-degree weather with wind chill, all right, and this race started at 8:15 in the morning, so no one's really wearing these shirts to the run, you know what I mean? Like, you have jackets on and stuff, like you have performance jackets on to run in, you know what I mean? There were some people who ran in their shirts. There's some women. And here's the thing. Let me say this now, okay? There were some women who were available. I put it like this. I think maybe out of all the women I saw available, I think maybe 3 caught my eye. I was like, oh, she's pretty attractive. But here's the thing. When you hear their conversations, the unrealistic standards make you say, yeah, that's why you're available. That's why you're still single. When you hear chicks, and most of them are in college, but when you hear chicks say, I want a man to buy me a horse and take me on the beach and ride that horse, I'm thinking to myself, what? Like, you do realize you're in Philly, right? Number one. Number two, it's like, you've been watching way too many movies. Like, the unrealistic standards that these women were talking. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is why you're single. This is why. You know what I mean? Like, but let's move on to the actual race, all right? Now, like I said, this race for me was just to get my legs under me. This was one of those things where it was just, it's my first race of the year. Let's just get it in, you know what I mean? So when we first get to, get to the race, because they let us sit inside first to warm up, they actually had 2 personal trainers outside to warm people up, doing squats and things, lunges and stuff like that. They wanted you to loosen up before you ran because it was so cold outside. Not to mention, you should know, the cold actually affects you more as opposed to running in the spring or in the summer or whatever, because your joints, your bones and joints, they tighten up. Not to mention on a regular basis, but it's even worse when you're in the cold. So they had a little program out there for people to warm up, you know what I mean? A little exercise and stuff like that. Now, here's the thing, before the race, mind you, we're there, proceeds there. This is just one of those things you're just going to run and have fun, right? Yeah. Before the race starts, they bring out a table, right? And they start rolling out all these trophies, massive trophies. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? Because they didn't say anything to me about this being competitive. And they're like, nope, we're going to have, trophies, big trophies for, for the best times and people and gender and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, who ran the women's bracket, the men's bracket, the overall bracket. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is going to be a competitive thing. So we all get into our race, and here's the thing. There's no corrals for this run. There are 999 people there. Literally 999 people. They actually sent me the thing afterwards saying how many people were there. All right? 999 people, and they put me in the front, but there were no corrals, okay? So, race starts, and I'm running, right? And I can't catch this one woman who's in first place. She was the equivalent of Captain America. She had to be at least 20 yards ahead of me. And I could not catch her for anything. But here's the thing. I will never doubt the Philadelphia Zoo again, it's been a while, a long time since I've been to Philadelphia Zoo. I didn't realize how many hills were in the Philadelphia Zoo. The entire zoo was hills. Uphill, downhill. And then when you ran outside, uphill, downhill, uphill. There was never a flat surface to run. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to catch this woman, which I'm not catching her. Yeah, GG, good. You got this. You know what I mean? I was in third for a very long time. I was in third all the way till I came out of the zoo, and then we have to run around the zoo and back into the zoo, and then that's the end of it. So once I got out the zoo, problems started happening. Shoelace came untied. Yeah. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, it couldn't be that bad. Have you ever tried tying your shoelaces when you have frostbite on your hands? Your fingers, you can't feel your fingers? You might as well try and tie your shoes like this. Okay? So, my shoelace came untied 8 times because I couldn't feel, my shoes, and I couldn't tighten them enough to keep them, keep them tight. So they kept coming unloose. And every time I bent down to tie my shoe, I kept losing placing. It started to piss me off. I started to get frustrated. You know what I mean? So it almost got to a point I was going to ask someone else to tie my shoe. That would have been pretty embarrassing, but that's where I was getting to. So it got to a point now where I was like, I'm just going to order those things that clamp on the shoelaces. I've never had any problems with shoelaces before and having to tie my shoe when it comes to running. This is the first time, actually. So, yeah, that was pretty bad for me. It really was. And it sucked because I was in third place, and I was in a good third place, and every time I'd stop tying my shoe, that's when you start seeing all these runners, go by, and then I couldn't catch up afterwards. I just couldn't catch up. So I placed, I believe, out of 999 people, I placed 47th, I believe, something like that. I finished in 28 minutes. I ran a 9-minute mile, which I could have ran more. Like I said, if it wasn't for all the stopping. I will say, near the end of the race, I tried to tie my shoe again one more time. And I guess the guy next to me, who was coming up on me, I guess he thought I was getting tired and I was quitting. And I wasn't tired the entire time. Even though the wind is cutting into me, I wasn't tired. I wasn't losing breath or anything. And he tried to pat me on the back, I guess, for, just for some confidence, keep going. And he ended up missing my shoulder, and he snagged my headphones. And my headphones went straight out my ears, went to the ground. I just looked at him like, bruh. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, I get it. I understood what you were trying to do. I get it. You know what I mean? So, again, imagine trying to put headphones in your ears and trying to get my ears under, because I had a different hat on, under your hat with your fingers you can't feel. You know what I'm saying? So that took a minute. And then when I got him back in, I ran. I went right by him. Tapped him on the shoulder, gave him a thumbs up, went right by him, and I finished the race with no problem. Because I was near the end of the race when it happened. I was like, that kind of sucks, but you know what I mean? What can you do? Now, they did say in this entire race, because in the thing is you can run and stop and take pictures with the animals. They even said it before the race. You can take pictures with the animals. You can stop and you look at the animals. Dude, it is 19 degrees with wind chill out there. What animals are going to be out there? Even the polar bears weren't out there. The only 2 animals were out there. One rhino came out and was like, alright, it's cold out here. Y'all got this. And walked right back into his hole, alright? And then there was one near the end, I saw an eagle who was sitting on the branch and was like, y'all crazy as shit for being out here this cold, but I'm an eagle, so I ain't gonna say nothing. And that was it. The eagle just kept turning his head like this, and that was it. That's the only 2 animals I saw the entire time at the zoo because everything else was inside. And they were saying how, because they gave us these bracelets, after the race, you can stay and walk around the zoo and see the animals. No animals out! You know what I'm saying? It's too cold, you know what I mean? So, overall, it was a great run. I felt it was fun. Would I do it again? Possibly. I'd say, because it was for a good cause, so I'd say possibly I'd do it again. I will say that after the race, it took a whole day. I would say almost to Monday morning to get my left hand back. I could not feel my fingertips on my left hand at all. My right hand was fine. I was going like this, couldn't feel anything. Not till about, let's say, fully back to normal Monday morning. Mind you, the race was on Saturday. That's how badly frostbitten my fingers were. And I had gloves on, too. So I'm going to have to get some better performance gloves. I'm going to run in the cold like that. No other problems. Like I said before, when I did the Flyers run in the cold, affected my legs. Nothing, had no problems with my legs. Had no problems with anything else. Other than the shoe being untied, and I couldn't feel my left hand, my left fingers. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? So I didn't think the frostbite would kick in that badly. And at least I was only out there for 28 minutes. It goes to show you just how cold it was out there. Not to mention, when you're running, you would think, because your body temperature rises when you're running, I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but apparently it was a problem. They always say that the first thing, if you're running the cold, the first thing that goes are your hands. So I'll have to invest in better hands, better gloves, and I have to invest in those shoelace things so that it locks onto the laces so that it doesn't come untied anymore. And I'm going to run with those from now on because that's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? So yeah, I thought it was a good run. A lot of women there. Like I said, the one woman, I guess she won. She apparently said she was ahead of the pack. Like I said, I was in third and she was 20 yards ahead of me. You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, she knew what she was doing. She came to run. Like, she was just like, fuck you guys, I'm here to be competitive. And the rest of us were like, we didn't even know it was competitive. We didn't know. Because the guy who was in second was this Asian guy who was like, he was a college student. And me and, him and I were talking while we were running at one point, because we were neck and neck at one point. And he was just like, he's like, did you know it was competitive? I was like, no, I didn't know, like, while we were running. So it was pretty interesting. So, let's move on to the next topic, which is baseball, the MLB. For those who don't know, the MLB is proposing a rule change sliding into second base. That's right. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, let's look at what ESPN said right now. Now, let's be honest here, people. This is the Chase Utley rule. After what we saw in the playoffs last year against the Mets, we should know that this was going to happen. It's kind of sad because I know a lot of Mets fans are saying this needed to happen. You saw what happened in the playoffs. Our guy got injured. This is something that should have been implemented. And you have other fans who are either Phillies or just overall in the MLB saying, hey, this is a clean play. You want to know why? Because it's been happening for years and no one ever had a problem with it. Now all of a sudden, since a major person got hurt during the playoffs and it happened and there was backlash, now they have to fix the rule. So you have two different sides who are very upset about this, for different reasons, of course. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, Mets fans, they're happy it's done, but they feel as though something should have been done before because, as we know, Mets fans, when it happened in the playoffs, they wanted Utley to be out there on the plate, and they wanted to plug him with a ball. And remember, when they were out there in New York, they didn't play Chase Utley, the Dodgers. They didn't put him in the lineup because of the backlash they feared he would get. So, as you see, there's a lot of anger right now within this rule with the MLB. We will see what happens in the future with it. However, speaking of the Mets, we have to talk about this because Mets fans, I really feel bad for you right now because for those who don't know, Jenrry Mejia, let's talk about it. The pitcher was suspended permanently from the MLB. That's right, this is his third time now that he's been caught with PEDs. So, as you know, 3 strikes and you're out rule. He is the first player in MLB history. And of course, that's what people are saying. Of course, it came from the Mets. It had to be the Mets, right? To get suspended permanently. He is not allowed back in the MLB. Now, look, I'll say this right now. We always see back and forth when a player gets caught with PEDs and a rival team will say, hey, you're cheating. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your team's full of cheaters because one guy cheated and then you have other fans try to defend it. Mets fans are not defending this. They're actually saying, this is pathetic, it makes us look bad, and you know what? Good riddance. We don't need him. I felt the same way, as we talked about before, with Romero when he was with the Phillies. What did I say? Good riddance, you were cheating, we don't need him. And people were saying, well, your team is still a bunch of cheaters. No, just because one guy cheated doesn't mean the entire team is a bunch of cheaters. It's that simple. When Romero got caught, I said, I will never, cheer for him again. Lane Johnson, early, with the Eagles not too long ago, got caught with PEDs. What did I say then? I've been saying it all year. I will never cheer for Lane Johnson because he's a cheater. I look at it on an individual basis. When Carlos Ruiz got caught, they said, oh, he's cheating, he's cheating the system, and he got suspended. We found out that with him, it was actually a medical condition, that he needed this medicine. He just didn't have a doctor's note. And then what happened? He got a doctor's note, and it was all clear. So it's not like Carlos Ruiz for the Phillies was cheating. He just needed the doctor's note. It needed to be cleared through the right channels. That's all it was, okay? But in this case, the Mets have a serious problem on their hands, and their fans are just taking backlash, which I feel, even though I understand the rivalry when it comes to teams, jumping back and forth and yelling at each other and saying, ha, 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 you have to understand PEDs and cheating is a serious fucking issue. It doesn't matter what team does it. The fact is, that guy was so desperate to do that. And if you ask me, immature, naive, idiocy all around, because you should know, if you get caught once, you're going to get caught again. You still rolled the dice and thought that it was okay. You got caught twice, and you knew it was your last chance going in, and yet you did it again. What's wrong with you? So as far as I'm concerned, Mets fans, I feel bad that their fan base is taking the flack for it because he is on your team. But even Mets fans have come out and said, we do not agree with this. This is absolutely atrocious. And I think that's that's what really needs to be seen here. But yet we're seeing people argue back and forth online like a bunch of fucking children, which makes no sense to me. It doesn't. However, let's talk more about the Mets, because the Mets, believe it or not, this is where the rivalry comes in. Mets fans, why are you taking so many L's? I don't understand. It's all in 1 week, all in 2 weeks at this point, because your affiliate, that's right, for those who don't know, the Mets affiliate decides to have a Netflix and chill night at the stadium. So let me get this straight. So in April, you're just going to have all types of people fucking in the stadium, huh? That's what you're promoting right now. Oh my God. Why would you do this? Seriously, it's crazy that you would think that was okay. You know what? And then afterwards, when people called them on it, they said that we're the ones jumping to conclusions and that that's not what they meant at all. Nah, I'm not trying to hear that, man. Nah, you're not pulling that, or should I say pulling out? Nah, man. Nah, you backtracking hard. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew that, and you tried to play on it, and you got caught. Now you're trying to say everyone else reacting to it are jumping to conclusions. Nah, I ain't trying to hear that. You knew exactly what you were doing, all right? Or, it's like this. Either you didn't know what Netflix and chill meant, which means you were just trying to play up to it and had no idea what it meant, or you're backtracking. Either way, it makes you look bad. Mets fans, this is what your affiliates are doing right now. Oh my God. On April, in a chilly night, all of a sudden, get the fuck out of here. You know what you were doing, man. I try to hear that. You know it. You beat Spock, you know it. I'll hear that. You beat Spock, you know it. Anyways, let's move on. Like I said, because I said the Mets are taking a lot of L's, but you know the biggest loser of this week, or should I say the week that passed, is the NBA. For those who don't know what's going on, someone please explain to me. I understand that it's February, it's Black History Month, but do we really need shirts that actually say that or celebrating it? I didn't think that you needed a shirt that said, hey, I'm celebrating Black History Month. Look at me. I look like a tool bag. And that's what it makes it seem like, okay? Because of like this. If you want to celebrate it, go ahead. I mean, let's be honest here. We can sit here and see, we see PSAs all the time when it comes to, celebrating Black History Month on commercials and stuff like that. We saw just last year with the NBA where they were saying, they were doing PSAs and commercials to saying, you shouldn't say the word gay. You shouldn't say the word fag because it's wrong and stuff like that. We saw those commercials, they put out there. For them to sit there and have that type of shirt, it makes me feel as though it's very exploitive. That's what it feels like to me. It's exploitive. You know what I mean? It doesn't help the actual month any. I really doubt that the people who put this together even watched the Black Panthers documentary on PBS last night. I don't think it helped Black history at all. You know what I mean? It almost feels like it's just a cash-in. That's what it feels like, and I feel that is wrong. However, speaking of being exploitive and cash-ins, let's talk about the NBA All-Star Game. That's right. Look, when you give VIP treatment, all right, seating, to Puppy Monkey Baby, there's a problem. Now I have to call it what it is, all right? Because I play like this NBA. When I saw that kind of made me sick. Because you could have brought in kids who've never been to a basketball game. You could have gave them their first NBA All-Star experience sitting there. You know what I mean? You could have had kids from the Make-A-Wish Foundation come in, and have that experience as well. You could have brought the elderly in and had that type of experience. You could have invited D-League players to come in and sit there in the VIP seating and see exactly how the pros conduct themselves and stuff like that, But no, you decided to cave because money's being thrown around to a try-hard trend of a fake character. That's what you decided to do. And you think that all of a sudden, if you put a fake whatever in a seat with a diaper on, that's going to make me go out and buy fucking Mountain Dew? Do you really think that? That is absolutely stupid. But you want to know what else is stupid? The NBA Celebrity Basketball Game. Let's get to it. Every year I do it, still not. All right, when you're watching the Celebrity Basketball Game, you think it's going to suck, right? And guess what? It did suck because you got celebrities who don't know how to play fucking basketball.
you're not alone. Watch some NBA games, and you might see that depending on who's at the line. Had some guys struggle.
Couldn't even make it to the fucking rim. You threw it. Oh my God. You've got, and then here's the thing. You shot the second shot, and it was so hard, it bricked so fucking hard. I thought I was going to break the fucking glass at this point. And commentators are saying, you're not alone, because if you watch certain NBA games, this happens to the pros. Guess what? We've been talking about this for a long time, haven't we? There's a lot of people out there who shouldn't be in the pros just yet, and you still got them in there, which waters down the fucking product. But yet, you want to justify and coddle, that celebrity because he can't play fucking basketball. And you know what? There's so many of them that couldn't play fucking basketball. Ice Cube's son. Let's talk about this right now. How do you go out there? Now look, I don't want to get on people's weight. I don't. But you know you're out of shape. And you know that this is a game that you have to run back and forth on the court. Okay? You know this. You can't stop in the middle and just be like, yeah, I'm just going to stop right here near half court and I'm not going to play defense. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, if you are not physically fit to run up and down, look, it's a celebrity game. It's not like they're running hardcore anyway. And you couldn't even keep up with them. What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously, go sit on the bench. Sit on the bench. There's only one player who played, if you ask me, pretty damn good that entire night. It wasn't a pro, because as we know, the retired pros, they're not taking it serious. As we know, Tracy McGrady's not taking it serious. We know these guys aren't, alright? However, one celebrity, Jason Sudeikis. One celebrity. That's right. Because he's a spot shooter. Let's be honest. If anyone watch the game, spot shooter. You get in his face, he can't make anything. You leave him on the wing by himself or at the baseline by himself, he knocking it down every time when it comes to a shot. He's a spot shooter. He was putting up points. What I don't understand, Kevin Hart, I understand it. Look, celebrities need to play. There's no reason to just keep them on the bench. Even though, guess what? A lot of them should have been benched. I don't understand why still Nick Cannon is out there. He didn't even really play, but he tell you himself, he's not a basketball player. Yet you have him every year there for some reason. I don't get it. I don't get it. But you bench Jason Sudeikis, who has 15 points. He's carrying your fucking team, all right? 15 points, and you're like, yeah, go sit on the bench. And you leave him on there just to get cold, which makes no sense. I understand other celebrities, they want to play and try to, but guess what? They can't fucking play. They can't. They don't know what they're doing. They're traveling all over the place. They're missing wide open fucking layups. Mind you, guys right on the rim. Missing layup. Missing layup. How can you do that? The guy from Arcade Fire won the damn MVP award. How is this possible? And here's another thing I have a problem with, because we got to talk about this, all right? Kevin Hart comes out. He was the coach, and then he became a player, all right? And you know you're in Toronto, and you know with Drake, you know that the Toronto, and you know how Philly feels about Drake right now because of what happened, okay? But Drake's assistant coach, all right, we got to talk about this. His assistant coach is a 10-year-old boy. I believe he's 10 years old, all right? I don't know who this kid is. I thought maybe they just picked this kid. Like I said, at first I thought it was like Make-A-Wish Foundation or something like that. No! Apparently this kid is from YouTube. That's right. Apparently he's from YouTube fame, and he was allowed to be at the All-Star game. At one point, they put him in the game, and then they took him back out. So I'm thinking to myself, now you're allowing YouTubers to play at the NBA All-Star, the Celebrity All-Star game. Have I not talked about this for years ago? How, look, if you're going to get some YouTubers, go get some ballers. Kevin Hart from Philly. Where's my invite? Because I guarantee you, I'd have dropped at least, unless you're going to put T-Mac on me hard, I guarantee you at least I'd have dropped 30 on them motherfuckers. 30. Guaranteed. I play like this. Invite me next year, and if I don't drop 30 on them motherfuckers, I'll shut down my fucking channel. How about that? Guaranteed. It's that simple. It's amazing. The things that we have seen this All-Star game, that no one can play. And you know every year it's like that, but when you have new faces, you think, okay, maybe someone will stand out, like a Jason Sudeikis. You know what I mean? But no, he was the only one. And the fact that he didn't get more playing time when he's carrying a team from a basketball standpoint is absolutely crazy. They need, look, if you're not going to get people who are going to at least somewhat play and it be entertaining, then just shut it down. Don't have it. It's that simple. I just don't understand that. I don't. Ridiculous. You know what I mean? Anyway, speaking of more ridiculous things, I will say, Kevin Hart, yeah, that's something you need to work on. But I want to give Kevin Hart credit for something that should have been done a long time ago. And I put it like this. For a couple weeks now, I've been showing you the dab. Did I not? All right, people always dabbing behind interviews or commentary. We've seen it. This week, this past, you guys have been sending me old people dabbing. You've been sending me more Squidward dabs. You've been showing me so much more when it comes to dabs. It is not going away. We already know nobody is safe. But it took Kevin Hart to finally say something to somebody to stop the dab.
I'm happy. Right now, I felt like we struggled a little bit with my second unit, so I'm going to have to switch things up a little bit. Mix it up. I expect more from my guards, and I demand more. I'm going ahead of you.
Well, are you getting any pointers from Andre Drummond or no?
Thank you. Turn around and address it. That's all you got to do, and it stops it right there. That's it. It's done. See? But nobody really wants to do that. I understand some commentators can't do it because they can't break off the script they got the camera from. They're trying to be professional. No matter what, influences are around them, they have to stay on the camera. Turn around and say something for once. That's all you got to do. That's it. Speaking of addressing things, or should I say dressing things, the NBA, as we know, last year tried to have a fashion show. Did we not? We saw that at the All-Star Weekend, and it failed horribly because no one gives a shit about the fashion show. It failed. They took it away this year. However, they let the fans vote on who was the best dressed when it came to NBA players. And I'm going to say this is trolling at its finest. No way in hell you can tell me that Russell Westbrook, when you were looking at that, okay? And granted, Russell Westbrook, great player, explosive player, phenomenal player, but is a clown when it comes to dressing off the court. You cannot sit here and tell me that he is the best dressed in the NBA. Stop while you're ahead. This is, you know what? If anything, this is a good example of what people, either it's absolute trolling or what people have been saying about fan voting in the All-Star game in general. It needs to go away. Just saying. Now, I want to say this right now. There's more L's to be taken. More L's are coming for the NBA. Because for those who don't see, Atlanta fans, we need to have a talk. That's right, Hawks fans, yeah, we need to have a talk. For those who don't know what happened, okay? Not only did you have the bad celebrity game, and then you have Puppy Monkey Baby sitting in VIP. Not only did you have the worst dressed win the best dressed of the NBA, but then you had to have the NBA talent, the talent challenge or whatever you want to call it. That's right, a talent, some type of competition, tournament, whatever. Now, there was only one person who had real talent, all right? One player was actually able to draw. You know what I mean? He would make paintings and sketches and stuff like that. He was the only person who was qualified to be in this talent, other than basketball, talent challenge, okay? But Atlanta fans, we need to have this talk. Because when one of your players comes out and says that they can rap, that they can rap, no. Let's just go through the motions together when you hear. Let's just start the clip. Then you're going to see exactly how I feel, okay? Let's just start the clip.
I'm Mike Muscala of the Atlanta Hawks, and my non-basketball playing skill is rapping. It's no secret that rappers want to be ballers and ballers want to be rappers. I think I did it for a school project once, and after that, I started giving it a shot. I got my own computer, and I got some software that I could record with, and a microphone, and I just started experimenting.
Bruh, someone save this man before he hurts himself, please. Let me get this straight. Because you did it for a school project once, that makes you a rapper. So, guys who learn rap, they on the street, they on the corner, they learn in battles and stuff like that. You went and got a computer and a microphone and some software and said, I'm a rapper now. Bruh. You know what? That's just one. Let Hawks fans, y'all go ahead to answer to this one, because I'm just gonna let him rap. Let's see what skills he has to rap.
Call me Mike Jaws of the best kept secret. Coming from Atlanta where the Hawks stay screeching. I got 3 goals and I ain't talking about a hat trick. 1, win the championship. 2, make a smash it. 3, have a baby with my lady, then some grandkids. These other rappers shaky Charles backswing. Trying to find the recipe, I call them plankton. The flow.
Hawks fans! Why didn't y'all tell him? Why didn't y'all tell him not to do this? Why didn't someone on the team tell him not to do this? Why didn't the owner tell him not to do this? Y'all set this man up to lose so bad, to take so many L's. Y'all got to be kidding me. Is that the best you got? It's not even about the challenge anymore when it comes to the NBA. Because if that's the only rapper you got in the NBA, All right? But you would tell me you couldn't find someone else on the team to out-rap that man? You couldn't find no one? Hawks fans, you won't have any Hawks fans that could out-rap him? Y'all didn't tell him, no, don't do this. You're going to make us look bad. Nobody in Georgia in general could have told him, no, don't do this. No, don't. Oh my God. All right, and the thing is, afterwards, he went on Twitter and he was telling Barkley and Kenny Smith and all them, he was like, man, they switched up the beat so it makes my flow look bad. The beat wouldn't have mattered, bruh. Your lyrics are horrible. Your lyrics are trash. It doesn't matter about the beat. They didn't even have to put on a beat for you. You could have just did that without it in freestyle, and it still would have been bad. You gotta be kidding me. And the thing is, I know that he sat down and wrote that. He did. He didn't want to be showing up on TV and just be like, dude, I want to try freestyle. No, you know he sat down, he wrote that, he memorized that. You know he did. No, you can't tell me any differently. You should be ashamed of yourself. The Hawks organization should be ashamed. Atlanta fans, we need to have that talk. That's just no. Let's move on. Oh my God. Let's move on. Okay. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I want to move on. I'm going to try to move on. I want to talk about the skills challenge. All right. First off, skills challenge wasn't that bad. You actually had some guys who gave a damn. All right. Whether it was guard or big man, it goes to show you that they were trying to go through all the obstacles, pass the ball, center chest pass the ball into the hole, you know what I mean, layup, take the 3-point shot. It goes to show you that people were actually trying to win. I really appreciate NBA players who took Saturday night's festivities very seriously. I appreciate that a lot because Friday night's festivities were atrocious. They could have just got rid of Friday night's festivities outside of, USA versus the World when it came to pretty much was the rookie-sophomore game. That was pretty good. However, they put up like over 130 points, so that's a thing too. We'll talk about the All-Star game, I know, because they put up even more. But you have to understand, Saturday night's festivities were very entertaining. It started off great with the skills challenge. Then afterwards, it rolled to the 3-point contest, which if you ask, first off, Draymond Green and Kevin Hart is having some type of rivalry in the 3-point contest. And what I don't understand is that Draymond Green took a serious L when it came to the 3-point contest. Because you let a celebrity and Kevin Hart tie you in this contest at the end. It was only one round. Tie you in this contest. Here's the thing. At the end, you bring out a trophy and say, I won this big trophy. And granted, it's for jokes and everything. But you can't even say that you won because Kevin Hart made you look bad. You are an NBA All-Star. You are a world champion. And you let a celebrity, okay? And Kevin Hart, who doesn't play basketball much, as you can see the way he plays, you let a celebrity tie you. That's automatic L. I told you, everybody take L's today. Everybody. Hey, it's up to you who you think had the worst. But the actual 3-point contest was amazing. I thought the first round was like, okay, we see what's happening. And as we know, Steph Curry was going to be the people were locking in for Steph Curry to win this. But it was great to see Klay Thompson beat Steph Curry at the end. He was locked in, he was focused, he didn't care. You know what I mean? I thought it was a great contest. James Harden, I was really disappointed in because if you notice, he missed a lot of shots from the center. And if anyone watched a Rockets game, most of his 3-pointers come from where? The center. He loved to shoot at the top of the key. So it was interesting to see him miss a lot of shots from the top of the key when that's his bread and butter. That's where he likes to shoot the most. It's really interesting to see that. A lot of players just didn't have it in them. You know what I mean? J.J. Redick didn't have it in him. We saw that happen. You know what I mean? And we saw, some of the new guys. I felt even in the first round, I felt some of the new guys that were there, they had a lot of nerves. So you can tell that, they weren't comfortable shooting that shot just yet, in front of all those people and getting adjusted to the clock and having the racks. And a lot of these guys, they missed the money ball a lot. They did. I was very interesting. It was very interesting to see that people were missing the money ball, which that would have saved you. And then as you saw in later rounds, the money ball was actually starting to save people because of how much it totaled up. So that was another thing that was really interesting. But congratulations to Klay Thompson, and you can tell he wanted to beat Curry. You can tell he wanted to beat him. You know what I mean? He wanted to beat Steph Curry. So it was really interesting to see that. Congratulations to Klay Thompson. Now let's talk about the slam dunk contest. Because the slam dunk contest, I know a lot of people are saying the slam dunk contest is back and it was great and things of that nature. If you look at the slam dunk contest for what it was as a whole, it sucked. It sucked. And I'm going to say it sucked until the final round. How about that? It sucked to the final round. Because those first couple rounds, it was nothing. It was child's play. It was a joke. You got the one guy coming out in a Thriller theme, which I don't understand why you're coming out in themes anyway. And then first off, they have to give you this entire background for some reason, a video package of their entire background. I've been trying to do this all my life. I've been the underdog all my life. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck this got to do with the slam dunk contest? This is something you see in a documentary or something you see when you have a player profile when it comes to, making it to the All-Star game, not just to a slam dunk contest. What does this have to do with it? I don't know. I've been underdog all my life. I'm going to show everyone in the world that I can slam this ball. And then you fail horribly. I don't understand it. Like I said, you come out to this Michael Jackson Thriller thing, the dancing, the women zombies, they was getting it in. But this dude is dancing like, hey, hey, hey. And I'm like, you supposed to be Michael Jackson. You got the Thriller jacket and all on. You're not even doing this, bro. Like, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? Takes off the stuff, comes out with a dunk, and it's like, not a big deal. The first round, everyone's putting the ball between their legs, all right, when it comes to dunking. I'm thinking, all right, maybe they're just getting all out their system. I didn't know if it was a set thing where you had to dunk between your legs, but everyone was doing it, and it started to become unoriginal. It really did. Because everybody started doing it. And second round, like I said, first, Levine looked really good in the first round. His first dunk was really impressive. Second round, it was run in the middle. It was like, do we really need this? And of course, that final round was amazing. Because both players, and you can tell they ran out of ideas. You can tell they did. They only had a set amount of dunks that they practiced. And at one point, they even said, they turned to other players as like, what do I do next? They didn't know what else to do. That's what it came down to. But it goes to show you when you do have some type of originality, it can be great. When that guy put the ball between when he put both legs up and he went under both legs and dunked down like, yo, yeah. When he had that mascot, instead of the mascot just holding the ball like this, he had the mascot on that hoverboard, and it was doing a 360 like the Statue of Liberty, and he grabbed it, turned around, put his hand, yeah, like that. That's what I'm talking. They were the best two dunks if you ask me for that, dude. That's the best I've seen. And the thing is, everyone wants to give him credit for that behind the back dunk, but if you look at it close enough, because he was supposed to put the ball and let the ball hit his back first, then bring it down, then bring it back up. But if you look closely, the ball didn't hit his back. It just went here, here, and here, which is still difficult, but it would have added extra flair to it to say, hey, he actually made contact. He didn't hit his back. So it is what it is. Levine, as you know, he was the returning champion. He looked great. I understand a lot of people got tired of seeing him jump from the foul line, and as we know, he was actually, every time he jumped from the foul line, he was 1 foot ahead of the foul line. So that's one thing. But the difficulty it takes to do those things from the foul line, to catch an oop from the foul line and dunk it, to try and do a dunk from the foul line between the legs. You got to think, everyone, if you look back in the past who's done the foul line jump, what do? They just run, dunk it. Run, dunk it. There's no trick to it. You know what I mean? They're holding up. It's already difficult enough to jump from the foul line and just hold it up to get the dunk. But this dude went from the foul line between the legs and did it. And like I said, you get tired of seeing things between the legs, but when you see something like that, you got to give him his credit, man. You have to. That was a great thing to see. It was. Anyways, I feel as though the slam dunk contest, the final, was amazing. I feel as though those two players should come back, and I feel as though the last two spots that are open, they should have a dunk off for that, to get in those last two spots. And if you asked me before the NBA All-Star game, you have these two players, whoever's going to do it, you have them, or I should say you have an open, open challenge. You should have a contest. I'll put it like this. You have 4 people, all right? You have 2 people from the NBA, and you have the champion and the runner-up from the D-League. That's right. You have them come up. And you have those 4 have a dunk-off to see who gets the 2 final spots. And you do this maybe a week or 2 weeks before the NBA All-Star game to warm it up. That's how I feel it should be done. So you have the 2 remaining. That's how it should go. If they want to come back next year, the champion and then the runner-up, and then you have those 2 spots open for those 4 players. As far as I'm concerned, that's how it should go. That's how you keep it fresh. But of course, when I say this, it's going to fall on deaf ears, of course, right? So it is what it is. Slam dunk contest made up for a lot in that last round, but those other rounds were absolute trash. They were. It was not worth watching when it came to those rounds. If anyone has not seen it, I would say just watch the final round. I would just tell them that. That's simple. So, in all those rounds, as an overall contest, it failed, but if you break it up into sections, that last part was amazing. It was. Now, let's move on to the All-Star Game. And I will admit, I did not watch all the All-Star Game due to the fact that it's the All-Star Game. It's boring. There's other things to watch. But when you see these teams putting up almost 200 points, because that's breaking a record, that's crazy. Russell Westbrook got the MVP, which he deserved to get, if you see the way these guys were playing. Steph Curry, at the end of the game, he just chucks the ball from half court and it goes, and he's just like, 3? And he just walks off. Like this game, it is what it is. It's no one's playing defense. As you see, you put up 200 fucking points. There's no defense being played. No one cares. Like I said, people are there just to have fun. You're there to see, some flashy stuff. And even the players are there just to relax and have fun, but still perform to a somewhat level. All right? So you do have that. You know what I mean? And the crowd is going to ooh and ah. It happens. You know what I mean? So that's fine. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? But the All-Star Weekend, the festivities of the weekend, it was, if you think about it, Saturday night was the best night out of the entire weekend. The NBA still has a lot to fix when it comes to the All-Star Weekend. All right? The All-Star Game, I guess it is what it is. That's the way players are going to be. Fine. That's not going to go anywhere. It's a staple on Sunday. They're going to do that. On Saturday, they have a lot more things they can clean up, but they did try hard on Saturday, so I'm not going to bag on too much on entire Saturday night. The players did try. I'll give them that, all right? But Friday night was absolutely atrocious. You should be ashamed of yourself, NBA. You should have cleaned this up by now, and I don't understand why you haven't cleaned it up by now. But I don't know. You don't really need a celebrity basketball game. Like I said, I would rather have legends out there play. And my interviewer, and Kenny Smith, I said the same thing. He's like, you don't want to see us play and everything, remember? So, hey, if that's the case, like I said, have a D-League versus rookie game. You know what I mean? Like, you can do something. You can come up with something else. If I can do these on the fly and just give you ideas, then you can come up with something else better than just this bullshit with the celebrity game. It's absolutely, it's a mockery of basketball. It really is. Now, I want to move on. I want to talk about the Chelsea versus Newcastle game real quick, football overseas. I'm going to make this really quickly due to the fact that I need to move on to other things. So, Chelsea versus Newcastle. I know you're probably saying, well, Vint, Chelsea played yesterday. Yeah, but it wasn't aired here, so I didn't get a chance to see it. It wasn't aired. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I didn't get a chance to see it for performance-wise. Chelsea versus Newcastle. As you know, Chelsea absolutely destroyed Newcastle, which was very impressive. I know a lot of people want to say, well, Newcastle, they're the bottom 3 when it comes to relegation. They're not trying hard. That's the thing. They didn't try hard. You would think that Newcastle, with them being close to relegation, that they would try hard, right? You would think that something, when you're putting up that many goals, all right, seriously, when you're putting up 5 goals, the light would come on and say, you know what? Fuck this. You know what I mean? They're making us look bad. And they never did. If you, the players, the body language is just like, oh, here we go again. Like, are you serious? Go out there and play. Go out there and defend yourselves as a team. Have some type of pride. And that's what bothers me the most. Chelsea did what they need to do. They played excellent. I can't get on them. I can't. They even missed a number of chances at, towards the goalkeeper. They did. Because the score could have been a hell of a lot worse. Seriously, if they'd have executed on a lot of those chances, this would have been a 9-1 game. It would have been. They'd have been blown out. And don't get me wrong, 5-1 is a blowout, but it would have been even worse. The fact that Newcastle didn't show up, and I know a lot of people say, well, you're yelling at Newcastle more than you're at Chelsea. Yeah, because Newcastle fans deserve better. That's why. You want to tell me you're sitting there watching that game, you're not thinking so. First I'm thinking to myself, damn, Chelsea's putting it in. Chelsea's putting in work. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Is something wrong with Newcastle? Are they dudes sick? Is it something like, why are they not playing? How are they leaving these gaping holes on defense if Chelsea's just slicing through? What's going on here? So, as much as I want to give Chelsea the credit, because they did play great, they executed great, they put pressure on them, the possession time was theirs, they controlled neutral field, but then you have to think to yourself, well, what the fuck did Newcastle do that they just decided not to play today? You have to think that. And for me, it was absolutely atrocious to watch. It was. Because Newcastle just wasn't trying. It's one thing to watch your team say, ha ha, yeah, my team is winning, we run up the score, yeah, get a drink, celebrate, you know what I mean? But then when you look at the other side of it, it's like, damn, this team is just getting railroaded, and they don't even care. And that's what it was. They didn't care. You can see it on their face. They weren't there. They had checked out a long time ago. I don't understand it. I really don't. And there were a lot of flops that game. And you know what? I'm not going to show you those flops. I'm not. No. Because there were worse flops this week in the NHL. That's right. New Jersey Devils. I don't understand how you can flop twice badly in 2 meetings with the Flyers in a week. How is that even possible? You know what? Let's look, and this is all Criminal Force flop of the week. Let's look at the first flop from their first meeting last week.
And then you see Kreider taking a couple of whacks at it, and the Flyers do what they're supposed to do, get in there and protect their goaltender, and then Vanderbilt with the last push.
God damn it, I meant the Rangers. See, that's what happens when it goes on. The Devils flopped so much last night, those 2 weeks. Look, that's what happens when you just go on, and I apologize for that. But as you can see, he barely touched the guy, and he fell. But like I said, Jersey Devils fans, tell me why this was like, this is your pure Grim Force flop of the week, people.
Philadelphia forcing the original slashing one player with penalty 64.
Come on, man, you gotta be kidding me. It looked like he was just jumping from an explosion. He was like, like, get out of here, man. Like, you saw, it was a little slash, and then he just takes that big jump. Come on, no. You get, come on. You know what? Let's move on. You know, I want to move on to some serious matters here for a minute. All right? I understand we're all having fun. I'm animating. I'm having fun. Everyone's taking L's today, especially me. Hey, I just wanted to talk about something serious real quick, okay? And it was reported not too long ago that Ronda Rousey considered suicide after Holly Holm lost. Now, I want to talk about this, all right? You get a little serious now, all right? It's sad that she would even consider contemplating suicide. Now, a lot of people have talked about this. A lot of people have messaged me about this and said, hey, have you have an opinion on it yet? Or, what's going on? Do you think there's other things that are in play? I personally feel as though when someone like a Ronda Rousey, or it's just people in general, when they contemplate suicide, there has to be a number of issues that are going on that builds up to that point where someone wants to kill themselves. I think that it takes, maybe it was just that last thing. Maybe it was one of those things where everything around her, even though we see it on TV, she's doing movies, she's doing this, she's doing this, it doesn't mean that her life is wonderful. You know what I mean? Maybe there were a lot of bad things that were going on. Maybe there was a lot of pressure going on at the time. And then, for her to lose to Holly Holm the way she did, because think about it, maybe that's the only thing she had left. You know what I mean? That, say, hey, this is bad is happening around me. All these bad things are happening around me, but at least I'm still champion. And then you lose that. And maybe that was the thing to send her over the edge. Or I really doubt it was a death before dishonor thing. It's like, okay, I lost now, I'm going to go kill myself. I'm not worth anything. I really doubt that was just it. You gotta think, when you're billed as this person who talks mass amounts of shit, and you're backing it up, and you've been the champion for so long, and you have to keep that streak going in order for people who are naysayers so they can't say anything, because let's be honest, we've seen people bask in her loss. We've seen this, you know what I mean? I think it's a culmination of a number of things that have sent her over the edge to even consider suicide, and I think now it's time to get serious. I think it's like I said, you see a lot of people who talk shit about Ronda Rousey. You see a lot of YouTubers, people on Twitter, people on Facebook, and they're still, that's what you get, Ronda Rousey. Now it's got to the point where she considered suicide. So now it's like, okay, now we have to stop and think of this person as a human being now. And I think a lot of people, when I say that, I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, well, fuck her, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about her. I've never met her, blah, blah. That's not the fucking point. That's not the point. She's a human being, and she was thinking about taking her own life because she lost, in that. And like I said, it could be more. There's a lot of things we don't know. We can only go by what we know on the surface. Once again, what's got us here to this point with her to begin with, And I feel as though at this point, and I understand that she's getting ready to make a comeback, and now she's doing SNL, and she's doing Ellen, and she's doing all these other things we're seeing now, to try to get back in the limelight because they're getting ready to announce, that comeback is coming soon. I personally feel as though she needs to get some help before she decides to come back. Because if you have people who love you around you, we've seen the reports from her sister, we know that Travis Brown is around, we know all these people are around her, and you're still feeling that this way you want to kill yourself, obviously your inner circle that is not, that says that they love you, it's not strong enough for you. It's not. So you need to get some help before you decide to get back in that octagon and perform. That is dangerous. Because what happens if you go back in there and you lose again? Then what? Then it gets worse. You know what I mean? Like, that is something I wouldn't wish on a competitor like that. You know what I mean? Like, when you listen, when I've had the experience of talking to a lot of these people who are in MMA, and to hear what they go through, or any fighter to hear what they go through. Like I said, there's a lot of sacrifice involved, a mentality shift involved, because it's when you're training, it's all you know. It's hard. It's hard to turn off. I can tell you, every day when I wake up and train, every day I wake up, I'm looking to punch someone in the face. I'm looking for it. It's something that happens. It's your mentality changes. I'm sitting here talking to you right now because that's one thing. If I didn't talk like this, I would be walking around somewhere right now. Probably just stalking around, looking to fight. Like, outlets. Everyone needs outlets. Everyone needs decompression. And when you talk to a lot of these fighters, they don't have that. They don't. So it's all they know. They get consumed in it. They get obsessed with becoming the best. If you don't believe me, look at Conor McGregor. Obsessed with becoming the best. If he loses, wonder how he's going to react. We don't know how he'll react. You know what I mean? And we know he's got a fight coming up, big fight. But it's one of those things. Everyone, as we know in MMA, loses. We know this. You can lose like that in a second. Whether it's from a punch or from you made a mistake and you got submitted. It happens in a second. But to see people, for a person who has been undefeated like Ronda Rousey and has not, you know what I mean, I wouldn't say just undefeated, being beat the way she was beat, it's eye-opening. It's not about ego. It's not about, oh, it hurt her, pure, ego. No. It hurts the mentality in general. It shatters it. So, as far as I'm concerned, I feel as though she really needs to get some help. She does. Speaking of more MMA, for those who don't know, this weekend coming up, we got Bellator, Shamrock versus Gracie. That's right. So, the legends are coming back. You know what? This is going to be, I think, if this goes well, this is going to be Bellator's thing. Bellator is going to do this legend thing, and it's going to pay off so well for them. Because people still want to, the new generation didn't get a chance to see these guys in their prime. They get a chance to see them now and see if they can still perform. And, of course, people who are loyalists to this sport, they want to see it because, hey, they know about these guys. It's a legend. They're foretold legend, and they were there when they saw it. They want to see them do it at least one more time. And that's one of those things where people will tune in to see. I certainly will tune in to see, I don't know. I feel as though this is something that's coming up. And in other news, I appreciate the advice that a lot of you have given me in the last video about what I should do. So far, an update real quick before I end this video. We're looking into a different promoter for boxing, and if things don't work out with that promoter, we're just going to drop that, and I'm going to go right. I'm just going to start training in jiu-jitsu, and I shouldn't say start training, go back into it, get the refresher course going into jiu-jitsu, and then maybe next year I'll be doing MMA. And when I mean MMA, I mean like competitively. We'll see. There's a number of things I still want to do this year and in half of next year too. There's still a number of titles in tournaments I want to accomplish to get at least 3. If I'm not invited to 5 Super League. For those who know, that's like where the pros really, like the professional grapplers really, get it in. And I don't consider myself a professional grappler at all. But I at least want to see where it takes me first before I decide. And if not, then I'm just going to get right back in the cage and get it in. You know what I mean? Professionally. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm not saying UFC or anything like that, but you got to crawl before you can walk. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. So get back in the cage and start doing, start wrecking shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, boxing's been great, but I've won 5 titles. You know what I mean? 5 amateur titles. There's no point of me. You know what I mean? Unless someone offers me a big contract to go pro, there's no point. There's really no point. So yeah, there is that. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. Anyways, like I said, still I'll keep everyone updated on what's going on. I want to thank everybody for for their advice, because it was really interesting. Some of you said there's no point, $300 isn't enough. Some of you said just do it for the experience. Some of you said, you're training with guys who are top tier strikers. They come in and help you. You have better things to look forward to. So, I mean, here's what I see in the future. All right, I'm going to say 2 to 3 years. In 2 to 3 years, This year, I want to capture one of those jiu-jitsu titles. I was looking into the Philadelphia Marathon this year, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Depends on the timing. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't get a chance to do the jiu-jitsu title within, say, in the summer, then I'm going to have to wait till, the beginning of winter to do it. And during that beginning of winter, that's when the Philadelphia Marathon starts. I can't do both at the same time. So I have to sacrifice one for the other, which is fine. So I'll probably do it next year. But like I said, I want to capture the Grappler's Quest title, and I want to do the five grappling title. If I don't get invited to Super League, I'm going to go into MMA. After the MMA, I'm thinking either Bushido or Muay Thai. Either or. I want to be able to compete in tournaments and have fun. And that's what it is. This is fun for me. When it becomes a chore, then there's no point in doing it. This is fun for me. I've always called myself a competitor. You notice I've never called myself a professional, or I've never called myself a fighter. I always call myself a competitor. And then this week I was told, you know what I mean, by a number of people, even, like I said, even some top-tier strikers, 1% in one world, they actually came to me, and talked to me. They was like, no, you can consider yourself a fighter now. You can. And as much as that feels weird, I don't want to say that, but who am I to doubt, some guys in the best in the world saying this to me? You know what I mean? Like, it's really interesting. So, I still don't consider myself a fighter. A competitor, yes, because no matter what I do, I always see an obstacle, and it's competitive, you know what I mean? Go at it. But to hear myself a fighter is, I don't know how I feel about that just yet. I fight every day. It doesn't mean I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference. I've captured 5 titles. Like I said, amateur in tournaments. Doesn't mean I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? But now that guys are telling me I'm a fighter, it's like, do you really, you know what I mean? Where do you go from there? Anyways, I'm done for now. Say, good week of sports. Pretty funny, I would think. A lot of L's. Like I said, I took some L's myself. So, it's all around. It's all good fun. Anyways, hope to talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.